All right, welcome to the GEG New Jersey April event. Today is Wednesday, April 28th, 2021, and I am one of your hosts, Kim Mattina. Ted is here as well, and we have Renee Sudol, who will be our featured guest speaker tonight, and she comes to us. Well, she's part of our GEG New Jersey group as well. And she is an instructional technology coach, a technology teacher, and an elementary school webmaster for a New Jersey K-8 school district. She has been teaching for 23 years and holds a supervisor certification and is a Google certified educator and trainer. So we're so happy to have you on today, Renee. I know
Thank you.
you're going to be talking about Whiteboard.chat.
Yes.
So this is a very exciting and innovative tool, and I'm very happy to have you on. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, and we'll get going with the event.
Excellent. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Ted. I appreciate the opportunity to present tonight, and thank you for those of you joining us. And I am very excited to talk about Whiteboard Chat because there are so many great things that you can do with the program. I kind of call it like it's sort of like Jamboard on steroids or the Swiss Army knife of whiteboards. It's just kind of really cool. So I'm going to quickly share my screen and we'll get started. All right. Okay. My presentation up and running?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. All right, let's roll. So how to use Whiteboard Chat. I feel like they kind of need almost like a song to go with it, like Whiteboard Chat.
There you go. You have to make your own jingle.
It's seriously. So welcome. Thank you for joining us. If you can say hello in the chat, that would be awesome. And maybe just jot down one thing you're looking forward to doing this summer. Obviously, it feels like summer out there today. So if you guys want to jot down anything that you're looking forward to, anything that makes you happy about summer. I know we all wish it was there already. All right. So as we're jumping in, saying hi, Kim did a great job introducing who I am. So I'm just going to gloss on over to the next slide, which is giving you all some updates on Whiteboard Chat. So what is it? It is an amazing interactive whiteboard program that you can do so much with. And as my little Bitmoji says, it's amazing. So a quick little overview. I'm going to jump to what it is. And if you have used Whiteboard Chat before, put a +1 in the chat for us. Just want to see if there's anybody that's familiar with it already. A lot of things that you can do at Whiteboard Chat. So you can draw, you can share your board, you can do this is just kind of like the tip of the iceberg with all these amazing things. So here's my little quick list of what you can do with it. But more importantly, I want to jump in and show you all the amazing things that you can do at Whiteboard Chat. So let's hop on over to Whiteboard.chat. This is the main landing page. So when you get here, you're going to see there's a lot of different things happening, but the most important button is Start Drawing, this blue button down below. You're also going to see they have a webinar calendar, this green button, and then of course they're launching some new storage plans. But we're going to start with the Start Drawing. You're going to see there's 3 options. The first one is where you create a collaborative board you can share with your students. The second one is a single board. That's kind of like a Jamboard where you can create that single board with multiple people. And then, of course, the manage boards is if you have boards already saved. So I'm going to go into the Start Teaching just to jump in and share with you. This is the landing page for Whiteboard.chat. You have a couple ways that you can share with your students. The link and code is right up at the top. But there's also an invite button. So if you click that, it's going to give you a QR code. It'll give you a link to the Whiteboard Chat and also the class code, but you can also push it out through Google Classroom, which I think is wonderful. Let's talk about the toolbars. There's a lot of different things you can do. Over on the side here, I'm just going to jump into the draw tool. So this little paintbrush right here is wonderful for, you can do your sketches, you can draw, pretty much anything. But that's just, of course, just like the very basic. the eraser tool. So if you're like, oh, that didn't turn out the way I'd like it. So there's your eraser tool, but you can also click on the X and clear your board. So I'm going to just say yes, clear for everyone. Down at the bottom, this is the little button here is for you to see if you have multiple pages created, you'll be able to see that in that sidebar. So you can toggle that on and off by clicking in the corner. And then of course, for every page you add, you can click on the arrow and that will add an additional page. And we'll be doing that in a little bit. Heading down to the grid view, this is when you share with your students, it will give you that view of how many people are on their little whiteboards, and you're able to see them working in real time. The palette on the bottom shows you this is me, I'm logged in. This first little slide bar gives you the pen thickness. So if I want to slide that and obviously go with a much thicker line, I can do that. Let me grab my draw tool. There we go. We've got a much thicker line. We can change the opacity. And then, of course, this slider will allow you to add in text and change the size of it. So you can use that slider. The color, you're going to notice, can be personalized down below. You can change the color to anything you want. It changes the look of your canvas as well. I'm going to clear this. Let's come on up to the top. A lot of different features here. So under the actions, the 3 dots or the skinny snowman, this is where the help button is. I know, I love that in Google World. This next option will allow you to open the class boards and see who is signed on. They have engagement reports, which I think is amazing to see how well your students are interacting. But what I love is this open demo student. So I'm going to go ahead and click this. And then this allows you to give a preview of what your students will see as you're adding in different objects and things to your whiteboard. So this is all under the 3 dots. There's so much to explore there. And there's also this opportunity to create a poll. So we're going to take a look at that in a little bit. This settings, this is where you can adjust what your students can access on their board. So the scroll down button, will allow you to turn on the text box, enable speech to text. There's a lot of different options here. So that's under the skinny snowman. You can set a timer, which is great. Students can raise their hand and ask for help. So if I, come on over to our little demo student and I click on raise hand, I have the option to give finished, I need a bathroom break, but I'm going to click on raise hand, come on over here, and I can see that the student has raised their hand and they need help. And I'm able to interact with them in a couple of different ways. So what I'm going to do next is show
Renee,
you.
I have a quick question for you. Can you go back to the teacher view?
Teacher view. Yes, that's on it
Are
right
you
now.
in it? Okay.
I'm in it. Yeah.
So if you click the 3 dots.
Yes.
And then what is open class boards?
So this will allow you to see how many students are signed into your whiteboard at that moment.
Okay.
Yes.
So those are all the students that have access to the whiteboard.
Correct. Yes.
All right.
So yeah, that's a great option to, just have that information available. All right. Any other questions or?
No, thank you.
Oh, okay. So what I can do right now, I'm just going to.
Oh, Ted, you're muted.
Yeah, right. Real quick. That's okay.
Sure.
I want to make sure I got the question right the first time. So I had to say it out loud muted. Quick question for you. Down at the bottom right.
Yes.
I didn't catch what you had to do to actually log in because I'm coming up as Intense Frida in there instead of with my name. So was there a step that I needed to do or like a Google sign in or something like that?
Yes. So great question. So what you can do when you first go into, I'm going to come on over to, let me just bring up Whiteboard.chat. I'll show you that first window. So when you first get into Whiteboard.chat, start drawing that blue button here. That manage boards is where it allows you to log in. So I'll click that. I'm already signed in, so I just have the option to sign out right now, but you can sign in with your Google account and then anything that you have saved will show up here. So these are all
Got
the
it.
boards that I have saved. But I'm glad that you asked that question, because I do want to jump on this. This is really cool. There's actually something called community boards. And when you click on those, there's like a plethora of resources that are available that you can copy the board, you can copy a link to it, and you can scroll down, and there's all these like great resources. I just discovered it tonight. I was like, oh, this is really cool. I didn't even realize that these
Yeah,
are available. So I think as this program becomes more popular, you're seeing, all these wonderful resources become available.
yeah, that's all.
wow.
See, it was such a good
Yeah.
question, Renee. I'm glad I asked it twice, so
Yes.
you could hear it. So
Love
so
it.
thank you for sharing
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, anytime. Ask away. The manipulatives, this little palette up at the top, this is kind of like a hidden gem as well. Not only can you change the look of your board, so now I'm in the purple theme. Let's say I'm feeling red, or maybe I'm feeling pink. So it changes the whole look, but it also changes your pen color. And not only that, these manipulatives pop up. These are awesome. The developers keep adding more and more to this. So as you scroll through, you can see there's things from currency, robots, there's different language, there's sign language, animals. So we had therapy pets at school today, so I'm kind of in the animal mode. So I'm going to grab, let's see, who's this guy, the bear. Yep, sometimes he visits around here in New Jersey. So what you can do, so I can drag this on. So it's just a simple click, and then click on your screen. But here's what's really cool. If I right click on that object, I can animate it. And I can animate it in a couple ways. I can animate it to rotate. I can also animate to move and create a movement path. So for instance, if I want this bear to move along the path, I can do that. I can pause the animations. So there's some really neat things that you can do. I'm just going to delete these off the screen. Notice I'm right clicking, and that will simply remove, and that's where I found the animation.
So how do you pause the animation?
Great question. So let me go back. I'm going to grab the Earth Day. So Earth Day just passed, and I'm going to grab, here we go. There's our Earth. So let's say we want to show the students like rotation. So I'm going to right click on animate. I'm going to rotate. And now let's see if I can, sometimes you have to refresh if it doesn't kind of pick up that animation right away. So let's see if we can get it to animate. It's a little on the slow side. There it goes. It's picking up speed. There's the Earth. So in order to pause it, come on over to those two lines and click pause animation.
Oh, on that side.
Yeah,
Okay.
on that side. Yeah, excellent question. Under the menu, I want to show you, this is what I love. Go down to the widgets. This is like a hidden gem. Not only are there interactive, there's a clock that you can move the hands, so you can rotate if you're teaching time, but there's a spinner, which comes in handy. I know, for our students, sometimes we want to give the choice. If you click on the three lines, the hamburger menu in Google World, you can edit the different names, personalize it, and then click spin, and then you're able to use it. But there's also the student name spinner, which is really cool because this allows you, I'm going to just get rid of this so we don't have too many on the screen. It will auto-populate with those that are on your board. So the students that you've shared your board with, it auto-populates their name into the spinner. So I find that to be such a great thing, such a wonderful resource. And again, clicking on the three lines, you can edit in any way that you want.
Wow,
Okay.
what a quick way to get the students, like, in that type of using that type of gadget, with the spinner, like
Absolutely.
with their name. What a quick way. That's awesome.
Love it. Yeah,
and
it's
you don't
really
have
cool.
you don't have everybody grabbing popsicle sticks either, which is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
So with the way things are, so that's cool, and it is nice though that it only, and you said, just to reiterate, it only picks the kids that are in the session with you, correct?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. So when the kid goes completely dark on the they're off the program, it's nice not to have to spin. Go, oh, I got to spin again. I got to spin again. That type of thing. So that's really neat. Thank you.
This is cool too.
Yeah.
I like. I'm just thinking, like, you can even use this like as just for a teacher to display. Like if we're
Yes.
back in face to face, you can do the spinner, you can have the timer up there, you can have probably other widgets up there displayed as like a handy tool for the kids to look at.
Definitely. And I love the timer too. Like I'm glad that you mentioned that. So I just kind of set the timer and I did 1 minute. This will show on the student board. Like all these things that I've just been displaying are all on the student view as well. And then there's my timer. So they'll say like, oh, I've only got 1 minute to work on this math problem, or 2 minutes, no pressure. But this will show up on the student board as well as the teacher board, which I think is just such a fantastic resource. Another great thing that's sort of a hidden gem, in the beginning they had the freeze the screen and they had snowflakes, they had snowstorm. Now they have spring is here, so they've updated for the seasons. So when you click on this, you get all these cool flowers and butterflies. So much fun. I mean, what a great way to capture your students' attention, you know, and it freezes their board for those 10 seconds.
Oh, wow.
Very
Okay.
cool. Yeah. So our timer's going to go off in just a second. Let's
Like
just see if I
as
can
you're
head
doing it, I'm
yeah.
playing.
Oh, good. So there's
Yeah.
our timer letting us know like, hey, time's up. I can toggle it off by clicking on the little clock. And then we know that our time's up. So let's head on over to the left side. So much happening over here. So there's refresh the board. There's manage boards. That's when you log in and you grab your boards that you've created. The grids, phenomenal. Let me go to a clean page so you can see. So now I'm on page 2. I'm going to click on grids. This is just a game changer for so many things. Math, writing. I've created a grid on my board. Let's say I'm like, ooh, I didn't want that. Let me change it. Clicking clear will clear the grid. Let's go back. I can do a handwriting lesson, right? Grab my draw tool and then we're practicing letter writing. Of course.
So easy.
So much fun, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to clear that. I mean, it's like one of those like, but wait, there's more. Look at the music sheet. I know. I don't know if there's any music teachers on, but this is so cool. So you get the music sheet, head on over, and then you can grab the music notes because they have them here. And then you can just drag and drop. You're teaching a lesson. I mean, I don't know what I'm doing and what that is, but you know. So they really tap into all the disciplines, all the needs of the teachers. There's your primary line, the dot painter. I mean, these are for my art friends, so I can change the thickness and change the color. So again, just some really cool features under grids. All right, I'm going to pause for a second. Any questions?
Yeah, I was going to say the music, you know, the music and the graph paper in the back. Those always seem to be like two of those things that like you just constantly get questions about as like a technology person. Like, how can I do this? How can, you know, and it's really cool that you can actually pull the music notes, because a lot of times, like, okay, you know, like the graph paper and stuff. Yes, it's cool, but you know, people find a way to do it. You know, they used to make the clear photocopies for the overheads and all that. But like the music has always been something difficult. You know, you get the lines, but then like, what are you really doing? So to be able to actually pull those notes out was actually really cool to see.
So yes, I agree. So cool. And again, there's just an amazing, like it's like a plethora of tools and resources. So I'm going to head down, add media. This is great. So you can actually use your webcam and take a photo. Let's say the students are doing a written assignment. They can hold up their notes, take a picture of it, and it'll insert it right into the whiteboard, which I think is very cool. But I want to jump down to this tools, looks like the little wrench. So when you click on this, again, a ton of different things from line tools. So here you go. You're trying to illustrate like parallel lines with your students. There's your line tools. I can also right click on them. And now I have all these different options that pop up. So it's just, you know, ton of different things. I'm going to head back over to tools. And you can insert a link from a web page. You can insert a YouTube video and start and stop the video. You can insert a website that you're working on right into the whiteboard chat. There's your dice. Like how many times as a teacher, you're like, I just need interactive dice for a lesson. And then you can click the plus sign, and you can add, you can customize by clicking on, again, the number. You can just, any way that you need to use it in your classroom. There's so many options. And then of course, hide dice is another, if you click back on the tools. But I want to jump down. The pointer, so much fun. Ready? So the snake, this is a sure like way to grab your students' attention, especially, as they, after a while, they're kind of like, wee. So you grab the snake pointer, you're like, I know you're watching now. Not only do they have the snake pointer, they have a spotlight. They have notes. So again, there's that Jamboard sort of connection. If you click on notes, you're getting the Post-it note. So you click on this, double click, and I'm able to put my text in there.
Renee, do they have any keyboard shortcuts for any of this stuff?
That is such a great question. I'm not quite sure if they do, but their help menu would be a definite place to explore that. But that's a great question.
Well, the only reason why I ask is because like you have to go back into the menu,
Yes.
So, but I don't see it in the menu, so that's why I asked. I'll look through the help.
Yeah, I've done a lot of their webinars, and I haven't heard of any shortcuts, but that is a great question, and maybe they'll consider adding them. But I agree, it's just so much easier to have those shortcuts.
We have someone asking a question.
Sure. Julie. Hi, Julie.
She's asking if you can copy and paste from other sites.
So you can, and I'm so glad that Julie mentioned that, because here's something cool you can do. I was going to save this, but now that we have that question, so I'm going to head on over here, and I want to add in sunflower, because why not, right? We're thinking summer's coming up. Let's go to images. Not sure. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to click on the image. So you want to get the image in this preview mode, and then I'm going to do copy image. I'm going to head back over to my whiteboard, and I'm going to go Control V to paste it. So it'll paste right into the program. But not only that, this is what's wonderful. You can resize that image now that it's in whiteboard. And then here's the coolest thing. This is a relatively new feature. I'm going to scroll down, go to Make Jigsaw. I can set the number of pieces. Go to set.
Way.
This is, I know, really cool. And then if I go to right click, move, I'm able to move them around.
What?
And then, yeah,
oh
I know, mind blown. It's so cool. So right click, move. I'm going to jumble it for my students. I'm going to head on over to my student board, and let's take a peek at what they're looking at. There it is. And then I would have to, just click move, and I'm able to move and put that puzzle back together again. So
wow. The kids
Very cool.
Wait a minute. So I'm like totally now you wait a minute. This is great.
You're like, pause.
So when you put when you put that picture up there and made the puzzle out of it.
Yes.
Your test student had it, or did you have to make a copy of that and put it onto her board or that board?
So yes. So what I did is I created my new board. I did a Google image search for sunflower. All I did is right click on the image. I just did copy image.
Right. But then when you went, that part I got, but then when you went into Whiteboard.chat, you pasted it into the teacher.
Yes.
Okay.
Great question. Yes. Control V, and then I pasted it into the teacher, and whatever on the teacher board, my students are able to interact with. Which, so
I see.
Which is great. So now I'm going to show you, I'm going to come back over. So this is where that slide preview comes in handy. So now I'm getting a preview of all my different pages that I have. So this kind of gives you, and I can reorder them. So I can kind of click and drag and reorder those pages, which is nice, especially if you're doing something sequential. Not only that, but when I go to grid view, because I have one student that I have on, I'm able to see the student's board and what they're working on. And there's that engagement piece, 100%, 100%, 100%. So I know that student's engaged and working on that sunflower. And then when you want to go back to your teacher board, go to single view, and then you're back. And then it's just kind of refreshing my screen. So when you go now back to the toolbars, this is, I love a couple of different things here. I know there's like so many. The factories, this is amazing. When you go to tile factory, now you can create like matching cards. So for instance, I'm going to do A, and then I have to do semicolon, and I'll do apple. And then B, there's our semicolon, and then I'll do ball. C, semicolon, cat. All right. Now I'm going to go to make cards, create. I'm going to close this out. Now watch this. I can click on that top part, and now I have these like interactive flashcards. That's it. Exactly. So when I head on over to the toolbar again, let's go back to the factory. I'm going to go back to tile factory. And now what I can do is, so I can do the same thing. So now let's do, we'll say we're doing numbers. So we're going to do 1 plus 1. There's that semicolon 2, and then we'll do 2 plus 2. There's our colon, and then we're going to do 4. I'm going to do make cards, and I'm going to do matching. So the second item, toggle on, create, close this. So now, 1 plus 1, I know that's 2, and now it disappears. So there's that matching component, which is also super helpful for your students. And your students get those on their board so they can do that, those interactive pieces as well. The last,
that's awesome that it disappears.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yes.
now, quick question with that. So you were doing the cards, right?
Yes.
And you had the matching. Is it possible to have like a background image behind the cards, so that this way, as the card disappears, it like starts to kind of like a concentration type of deal, like the old game show, that type of thing?
I believe that, I think they have something with the formatting that you can set it up with the formatting with that. I haven't played around with it too in depth, but I think you can do something like that.
Okay, yeah, just curious. No, I mean, that's awesome as it is, but kind of one of those things where it starts to like unveil like a picture behind it, that type of thing, as it starts to match. I'm just curious if that would work.
Yeah, I mean, if not, it's a great suggestion. What I found with the developers, they are so open to feedback that if you share feedback on Twitter or email, they do their best to incorporate this into their program. So they've made so many updates. And this last one's kind of cool. Anyone that teaches sign language, if you go to the last option, make ASL tiles, American Sign Language, create. Look at that. Whoa. So cool. And you can also, under the factories, I'm telling you, it's like, again, it's like, but wait, there's more. Here's the form factory. So let's just say we're going to do something like, what is your favorite season? So we're going to type that out, question mark. Now we're going to do the radio dial choices. So we'll do summer, because summer's on everyone's mind. Winter, said no one. Fall, sorry. Spring. And then I could do another, but if I do create, close, and now I'm going to go over to my student board. Let's see, we've lost our, there's our cards. There's our poll. I can click, let's say summer, submit. And then when I head back over to teacher board, click results, it shows that the students' responses are hidden, because sometimes students don't want, they're shy, they don't want everyone knowing their answers. So you could obviously, show the results a little larger, but I love that the name is hidden so that it's not like, oh, so-and-so picked blah, blah, blah. There's that, it's that privacy with choices, which I thought was a great thing.
So Renee, really fast.
Yes. Yeah, go ahead.
Go back to that. How did you make the poll? I'm trying to follow along with you.
I know, I'm like whizzing through. I'm like, woo! So go to, sorry about that. Go to tools. You're going to go to factories, and then that little arrow, and this is form factory. And then they give you the format. Yeah. So you have to do L, and then you're doing the semicolon, and then, you know, what is your favorite subject, right? And then question mark, and then R. So these are your radio dial options. So I'm just going to go with my specialists are music, radio dial, gym, radio dial, computers, and then I can do radio dial, other. I'm not sure who has other, knitting. I don't know. And then you go to close. There's the
Wow.
yeah, which is awesome, which kind of takes me to my next one, which you can under, nope, not settings. Let me close out of that. Under the three dots, that's where I want to go. You can go to new poll. You can toggle all, and then you can actually send a poll that way.
Okay.
So if I wanted to do that, I could say, you know, what is your favorite season? We'll do that one again. And then it shows you the format. So I'm going to do answer 1, summer, comma, winter, comma, spring, comma, fall. I'm going to click send. Now my students have this pop-up poll. So I'm on my students board now, and I'm like, oh, I've got a pop-up poll. My teacher wants me to answer. So I'm going to click fall this time. The poll disappears. But when I head back over to my board, I see that student 1 answered fall. So this one gives you that information. It doesn't keep the names hidden. Pretty cool, right?
Yeah, I think that one for me would be, like,
Yeah.
you know, you like create it. They both, you can both options you can create quickly, but that one's a little bit more seamless.
Yes, and then I'll clear this. And then the last thing, gosh, there's so much. There is an immersive reader. I know some of our, you know, anyone that has young students that would benefit from that immersive reader. So if I double click, I can put, let me make sure I'm back on my board. Let me refresh. So if I double click on my board, let's close out the sunflower, get up my text box. Maybe it's not working this time. All right, good try. The drop zone. Let me jump to that real quick. So the drop zone is very cool. This is also under the tools. Click the drop zone. You have to draw it. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my drop zone. And then what I'm going to do is right click on it. And then I'm going to do make an auto counter, right? Then I can add in my text. There we go. There's my text, jumbo text there. So I'm going to slide, make it a little smaller because I don't need the text that large. And now I'm going to say make, so let's say my students are learning how to make change, make, you know, $1.55. So now I'll right click. There we go. I can move that around, resize it, but I'm going to jump on over to the manipulatives, and I'm going to go to money, because now we're going to use that currency to teach this skill. So I want my students to be able to make $1.55. So I'm going to click, drag on the outside of the drop zone, and then I'm going to throw out some coins. There we go. Everybody gets some coins. Money for everyone. And then let's grab the 5 cents, heads or tails. Okay. And then now what I can do is I can set this up for my students that they can clone it. So I did this by right clicking, and I can also set this up that they can move it. And I'm going to do that for enable students to clone, enable students to clone and move. So when they're on their boards, they're going to have that opportunity to do that. Now, my auto counter, I can drag, move, and let's go to the student board. Let's see how this looks so you can see it from that end. So many boards. All right, so now when I click on it, I have the move option, move. See, it's adding up. Now I'm at $1. Woohoo! I'm going to clone. This one was set to clone. Now I'm at 125. I'm going to clone this one again. So I just love And this one I accidentally sent to move. So
Wow,
either way,
it adds it up.
yes, you just have to make sure the area is large enough.
It's like watching stimulus checks go into people's accounts. It's
That's
great.
right. You get $100. You get
That's it.
and then this immersive reader. So if I click on this, read an immersive reader, this is what I want to show before. This is so, so cool. So let me see if I can bring this up. Might have to do it on this one. Read an immersive reader. Here we go. A little slow, but we're getting there. And then I'm going to click play. Whoa. Click the back arrow, and then we are ready to rock and roll.
Well, you just blew my mind.
So cool, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give you a quick board that maybe we can put in the chat so that anyone that wants to give a try can hop on for a few minutes, just to kind of, I know I threw a lot at everyone, but just to see what Whiteboard Chat can do.
It really is amazing how many tools like they've kind of packed in, because like I know people always like, this thing has, this program has these great tools, but I wish it had this, or this program has, and it just seems like it's like every menu you clicked on, there was like 20 tools. So it was like, so I was thinking back to like Kim's keyboard shortcuts, and I'm like, Kim, there's so many tools here that like my fingers are going to be like crossed all over the keyboard trying to figure out what buttons to press if there were shortcuts, because it's like so many of them.
There's so
it's
many
like
of them.
It's yes, it's so true. Was everyone able to get to that?
But look, Ted, you know what I noticed though in the menu? There's, if you hover over one of the options, the menu options, there's a little heart that shows up.
Okay.
So if you put a heart next to it, I think it pins it to the top of the menu.
Oh, that's cool. So this way you can go to your favorite, they keep going to your same go-to type things, like the like if you're really into like the jigsaw thing, like you can keep going to that. That's cool.
Yes, Kim, that's a great point. Absolutely. You can do that. So there's like your favorites. All right. So I can see.
I got to get into the board.
Yeah, check it out.
Yeah, me too. Like we're sitting here like talking and whatever.
Working. So I can see, like, I'm going to quickly show, like, I can showcase like Julie's board, like she's on the interactive map. And what you do with that, let me go back to single view, is you click on the words, and it's just, for page 1, it's interactive, drag the word to the location. So when you click on it, you should get the move option, and hopefully you'll be able to drag and drop it.
And how did you make it where you can drag and drop the words?
Great question. So after I created the text box, right click on it, and you want to enable students to be able to move.
Okay.
But there is that immersive reader piece again, which I just think is really great for those young students. Anyone exploring page 2 of our sample board, this is the spinner, and then we've got the feelings bingo. So when you hit spin, these are on clone. You can just drag and drop them onto the little faces. Again, so
wow.
cute.
Yeah.
Let's see, on slide 3 or page 3, there's that create, use the currency to show 1750. Now we're getting big money.
Yeah.
And then of course I added a puzzle for you guys. And then the last one is, how did you like this webinar? So if you want to give me some feedback, I always love feedback.
This was, I'm totally blown away. I had no idea that it had all of these other great little gadgets in here. Like I knew about like the manipulatives as far as like the math symbols. But I didn't realize that it had the widgets. I didn't know about the factories.
Yes, those are relatively new, and so cool. So this is that engagement piece. So I'm able to see, this is what I love. I can see like, Julie's got 92%, 100 on her boards. GEG New Jersey's letting me down. Ted's rocketed out of the house there. Yeah. So yeah, just some cool stuff. So I'm able to see like what my students are working on, but I can also join their board, which is Very cool. So that's the other cool thing, that you're able to join the boards and interact with them. So if I wanted to join Julie's board, I can do that. And I can even, if I needed to, go over to the manipulatives, and there's a feedback manipulative, and I can drag that over. Great job, and drop that on there for her. Great job, Julie. And then I can go back to my instructor board when I'm done.
So do the kids have the same menu access as you?
So great question. So you set the menu options under the settings. You can toggle on and off what you want your students to have access to. Yeah. Okay. And then the last thing, which is very cool, and I didn't get a chance to share this before. So if I click on, for instance, GEG New Jersey, I can create a chat. So for students, like let's say I notice a student is struggling, so I can toggle on that chat and I can write to just that student. So recipients, I'm going to say, no, I don't want to send it to everyone. I just want to do like, GEG New Jersey, save. And then I can say, do you need help? And then I'm going to send that little message. And then
Okay,
GEG
so
New
now
Jersey.
I see it. Yep, I see it.
And then you can write back. Yeah, so you have that conversation, that private chat with your students. Yes, please. Right. It's just amazing. So you're able to have that interaction with your students, and you're not like, Timmy, do you need help? Timmy, are you there?
This is definitely like Jamboard on steroids. It doesn't
Yes.
even compare to me. Like for me, this would be it. Like this is the tool.
Yes.
And it's free?
Yes. It is. So another great question. So what I was finding, once I believe you can, teachers get unlimited boards that they can. So if I go back to Whiteboard.chat, that can be, you can increase the expiration date on them. But if you go into their storage plan, so this is relatively new. So with our educators, it's free, all whiteboard features, unlimited boards, manual, the expiration refresh, and then, but if you want to start saving 20 boards or more, then then there's a storage fee for that. And then obviously if you're doing unlimited, you're using it a lot and you need a lot of boards, then you can go with the unlimited. So under the plans, you can take a look. And when you manage your boards, like I just refreshed one of my boards that I knew, like I'm going to be using this, so I'm able to refresh it. If you go to the 3 dots, manage boards, here's all my boards, I can refresh that expiration date. So it gives you an expiration date on them. And if you don't refresh, they'll be deleted.
Wow, I'm totally blown away. I had no idea that all of this functionality was in here.
Yeah, and it's a great, and not only is the amount of tools great, but like even like the little nuanced things like about like the spinner again, right? Going back to that, where like the teacher's like, okay, either I can go into the spinner and have to take 3 kids out because they're not here today, and I got to redo the whole pie, and like just like the intuitiveness of that even just saves so much like administrative time that it kind of will draw teachers in. So that was really neat.
Is there a limit on how many kids can join your board?
Excellent question. So from what I was reading, I think you can have up to 100 participants, but I believe in that sidebar, you're only able to see, with the grid view, I think you're only able to see 30 boards. I'm not sure if they keep getting smaller and smaller. So every time, the larger the group, the smaller the boards become.
Okay. Oh, thank you.
Which is a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah.
I know with Jamboard, when you start sharing anywhere's 50 is the cutoff, and when you get a lot of students, it starts to get bogged down, and the kids can't get on. So this is nice to have that other option.
Yeah, and I like how easy it is to like put a grid in there and then add, different manipulatives to it. It's not like you have to worry about resizing the grid, or it takes away that part of the thinking, and it allows you to actually put the content in there a little bit more freely or easier.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, definitely a game changer for teachers, especially those that work virtually or even, a small group or a large group. So many options.
Yeah, definitely. And you don't even have to get like a third party tool. Like I know some teachers at my school, they're using online spinners, they can do it
Yes.
right in here. Even the jigsaw. I mean, I created jigsaw puzzles with a third party tool. And now I can do it right in here.
Yes, I know. So cool.
It's so cool, I really want to get in here and play with it a little bit more. I had no idea it had so many great, features. So thank you for
Yes.
sharing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you
thank
very much,
you.
Renee.
Awesome. Thanks for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Ted, do you have anything you want to add, or are you good?
No, I'm good. I'm looking forward to jumping into these tools now and messing around. I definitely think right as of right now, I think my spinner one is the favorite right now. Like just to kind of like get in there and just kind of have that, and then followed by the jigsaw thing. I thought when you were gonna when you first brought Sunflower up, I thought you were gonna have like Post Malone kind of come through that Vivo thing, and I was like, no, that's not what she's doing. And then
You're
whatever.
like, where's this
So
going?
Like,
yeah, yeah.
what? So easy. What? Get out of here.
Yeah, but I was like, but the jigsaw thing was just as cool, Renee. So,
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
great.
so I'm looking forward to definitely look at both of those things. So, thank you very much for your time.
Yeah. Thank you, Renee. This
Awesome.
was
Well,
awesome. Very informative,
yeah,
and a lot of
thank
great
you.
information shared. So, we hope that everyone else enjoyed it. And if you want to catch up on the recording, the video will be posted on our website. So, thank you, everyone, for joining, and see you next time.
Have a great night,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.